Bienvenidos al sitio de Tecnología Educativa.
Whether you are looking for a new experiment to support your science curriculum or looking for ways to integrate computational thinking, Pasco is here to help. In 2019, Code.org released a report on the state of computer science education. As of 2019, 34 states have adopted computer science standards, and many now hold requirements for completion of a computer science course for graduation. Additionally, states such as Florida now offer computer science courses starting at kindergarten. Computational thinking and coding are parts of the larger picture that make up the computer science standards. Now more than ever, computational thinking is taking center stage. The idea behind this stems from how rapidly our world is evolving with the use of technology. Can you imagine your world without your cell phone? Computational thinking is the ability to put critical thinking skills into action, as well as being able to connect digitally. It is the ability to think and act like a computer scientist. It doesn't mean we're all going to be computer scientists, but we can take these skills into other fields such as medicine and engineering and come up with new innovations that make life better. We can break up the process of computational thinking into 4 parts: decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithmic thinking. So what exactly does each step mean in this process? Decomposition is breaking down of complex problems into smaller ones. Pattern recognition is looking for similarities. Abstraction, filtering out what is most important. And algorithmic thinking, constructing a step-by-step process for solving the problem so work can be replicable. When you think about it, students and teachers practice computational thinking daily, but it helps to make it explicit by giving some more detailed examples. For example, decomposition could be students researching organs of the human body to understand how the respiratory system works. An example of pattern recognition is keeping a food diary to assess what makes your stomach upset. Abstraction could be conducting a survey followed by data analysis and representation. An example of algorithmic thinking is a Google search or creating a PowerPoint quiz with different pathways for wrong or correct answers. SparkView and Capstone software now include Blockly coding. Now you can support computer science standards while reinforcing science concepts and encouraging the computational thinking process. Let's share how you might do this in a classroom. You can start by choosing from our experiment library. For this example, let's focus on the pH of household chemicals. Here, your students start by investigating the pH of various liquids using the pH sensor. Here, they gain knowledge of the pH scale and also tackle the deeper discussion on its importance and how it relates to the real world. We have developed Blockly extensions to support the science content, but now introduce coding. In this example, we provide the students with an initial set of code and ask them to replicate a program that would identify a base from the list of household chemicals they identified in the previous lab. We can further support computer science literacy by asking students what the importance of a loop is or what role conditionals and statements play in the programming process. Blockly provides numerical and text output capabilities so students can see data in real time. Next, we ask students to add to their initial code to create a program that would identify not only a base, but now acidic solutions and even the ability to identify a neutral substance. After students have investigated pH levels and created a basic coding program, you can challenge them to solve a real-world problem. For example, you just started working in a new factory that packages the various drinks that are shipped to schools for breakfast and lunch. Some of the drinks include milk, alkaline water, orange juice, sports drinks, and others. Can you help speed up the factory line by creating a program that will identify each of these beverages? This program will help in automation, making it easy to determine which cartons each drink should go into. This program is certainly more difficult as it requires the user to work with ranges, understand pH, and how to measure it. Again, students get both a numerical and text output. If the ranges are correct and the program is free of bugs, it will identify each drink on pH alone. So let's bring it back to the computational thinking process. In the Blockly extension for pH, we added a task. We asked the students to think about each step of the computational thinking process as they worked through all the activities and challenges. They were asked to document these in a chart for later reflection. Now we have students explicitly thinking about the process as well. To find this example and more lessons to support computational thinking, please visit our experiment library and search for Blockly. Thank you for joining us.
Today's students are digital natives, and although they may not know it, they are surrounded by sensors and devices that run on code every day. The CodeNode solution set helps students understand how sensors impact their everyday lives by teaching them about coding concepts and their real-world applications. It includes the Essential Coding to Learn Fundamentals of Coding with the CodeNode Board Book, a CodeNode and removable holder, Coding with Blockly video support, and the Essential Coding to Learn Teacher Manual. Essential Coding to Learn Fundamentals of Coding with the CodeNode is a student board book with 5 starter activities from the Teacher Manual. Each starter activity begins by introducing a key coding concept and examples of real-world phenomena. After learning about the science behind the activity, students apply their knowledge to create their own CodeNode code. Coding with Blockly video support, including online how-to videos and demonstrations, are also included to help you find immediate solutions to all your Blockly questions. Every solution set includes one code node and a removable holder that secures the code node neatly within the die cut of the board book. The Essential Coding to Learn Teacher Lab Manual includes 10 investigations with digital teacher and student versions. Each investigation follows our Learn to Code, Code to Learn model by introducing a key coding concept, related phenomena, and then asking students to apply it using the code node and Blockly coding. With the CodeNode solution set, there are no wires or small components. The CodeNode's 6 sensor inputs and 4 device outputs eliminate the need for breadboards or soldering, allowing students to spend less time building and more time engaging with STEM coding concepts. The CodeNode board book guides students through 5 immersive coding activities. Each investigation begins with a Learning to Code section that introduces a key coding concept and relevant science phenomena. Once they've learned the fundamental coding concept, students move on to the Coding to Learn section, where they apply their new knowledge to a phenomena-based investigation using the code node and Blockly. In the sound activities, students begin by learning about the science of sound and how it informed a world-famous innovation, the clapper. Then, they learn about programming variables and use their new understanding to create their own clap-on, clap-off light using the code node and Blockly coding. The light activity follows the same Learning to Code, Coding to Learn method. In this activity, students learn about light and the science behind nightlights. After learning about loops and their applications, students are challenged to create their own color-changing nightlight using the CodeNode's light output and Blockly coding. The motion activity introduces students to the concept of motion and random number generators. Then, they learn how absolute values and random integer blocks can be used to create a random number generator. Finally, students apply their knowledge using the CodeNode's motion sensor and Blockly coding to simulate a 6-sided die that rolls across the 5x5 array every time a student shakes the code node. The CodeNode solution set brings your students' code beyond the screen to the real world, from code-driven science investigations to student innovations like the anti-theft device. CodeNode activities help young learners understand the digital world around them. Introducing the CodeNode Cart. Low cost, easy to use, and curiously cute. The CodeNode Cart transforms the CodeNode into a vehicle sensing device that enables students to explore the science and code behind today's modern vehicles. The CodeNode Cart includes a primary slot for the CodeNode, front and rear string tie positions, 4 side slots for masses, as well as an insert to support the optional bumper accessories. When fitted inside the cart, the CodeNode's sensors, lights, and sounds become programmable vehicle features. With the CodeNode Cart, students can explore a variety of vehicle technologies using tools that mirror those used by real-life engineers. Along the sides of the CodeNode Cart are 4 slots for the optional mass accessories. Masses can be added or removed from the cart to support additional investigations in physical science. With the optional rubber and spring bumper accessories, students can perform exciting crash tests and cart-on-cart collisions while developing a deeper understanding of the science behind modern vehicle safety features. The CodeNode Cart includes robust support resources and cross-curricular coding investigations designed to help students build early competency in programming, data collection, and code-driven devices. The Speedometer activity helps prepare students to explore vehicle sensing technology with an introduction to the tools they'll be using in future investigations. The Odometer activity combines concepts in rotation, magnetism, and distance to help students program a functional odometer for the CodeNode Cart. Just like odometers in real life, the cart's odometer readings are based on its wheel's rotations. In the turn signal activity, students explore the science and sensors behind vehicles as they work to develop a program that indicates a left or right turn with a flashing arrow. The direction vector activity introduces students to simple vectors with exciting collisions that bring motion to life. In the gear selection activity, students apply their knowledge of direction, speed, and sensors to develop a program that determines whether the CodeNode Cart is in park, reverse, or drive. Students can even program the CodeNode's RGB light to simulate red and green stoplights. The Speed Trap activity brings everything together with an exciting investigation that simulates the type of technology used by police. In this investigation, students program the CodeNode's lights, sounds, and sensors to detect and respond to speeding objects. When the CodeNode detects an object that has exceeded the programmed speed limit, its police lights and sirens come alive to alert students. With robust resources, step-by-step directions, and plenty of room for creativity, the CodeNode Cart helps students develop the skills they'll need to develop early competency in science, programming, and mathematics.